by the time she turned 30, she had learned not to build expectations too tall. They had a way of collapsing without warning, leaving messes that only she felt responsible to clean up. So the party was small by design. A rented room of a neighborhood cafe. String lights she hung herself. A playlist that didn't try too hard. She invited her family early, with plenty of notice, phrasing it the way she always did. "I'd really love it if you came." As though her birthday were a favor she was asking, not a fact that existed. On the day of it, she arrived early and set the tables. She arranged the cake so the writing faced the door. She checked her phone once, then twice. Messages sat on scene, without replies. One chair after another stayed empty. An hour passed, then two. The staff asked, gently, if they should start packing leftovers. She nodded. She sang along quietly when the song changed. More to prove she could than because she felt celebratory. When it was over, she carried the cake home herself. The box warm against her forearms. She didn't cry that night. Crying felt inefficient. Instead, she took notes in her head the way she always did after disappointment: who showed up, who didn't. What reasons were given. Which ones were new. No one from her family called the next day. Or the next. A week later, a message came from her mother. It was written like a flyer: Dad's 50th birthday dinner. Private venue. The 1,800 per person. Venmo me by Friday so I can confirm your seat. No greeting mention of the party she'd thrown for herself. No acknowledgement of absence, let alone apology. Just a transaction. She read it twice, then once more very slowly, as though tone might reveal itself on a third pass. Her first instinct was not anger. It was a familiar, sinking recognition. This was the pattern laid bare: her presence optional, her contribution expected. Celebration flowed upward, never sideways. She thought about ignoring the message. That would have been easier. But ignoring had kept her here for 30 years. Instead, she opened Venmo. She sent $1. In the note field, she typed congratulations, no emoji. No punctuation beyond the period. She set her phone down and waited for the adrenaline she'd expected to feel. It didn't come. What arrived instead was a quiet resolve that surprised her with its steadiness. That afternoon, she called a locksmith. Changing the locks felt dramatic only in theory. In practice, it was just another appointment, another invoice. She blocked numbers while sitting on the floor of her living room, the new keys lined up beside her like evidence. That night, doubt crept in. She lay awake questioning the proportionality of it all. Was she being cruel? Petty? Was $1 an escalation or simply honesty compressed into currency? She reviewed old birthdays in her mind, the ones forgotten. The ones rescheduled. The ones where she was asked to contribute money rather than be present. By morning, the doubt had softened into something more tolerable. Not certainty. Just acceptance. 2 days later, there was a knock on her door. It wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. It was official in a way that made her stomach tighten anyway. She opened it to find 2 police officers standing in the hallway. Neutral expressions. Hands visible. "Are you okay, ma'am?" One asked. "Yes," she said. Her voice sounded calm even to her own ears. "We received a call requesting a wellness check." The other said. A family member was concerned. Concerned. She noted the word without reacting to it. They asked routine questions. Did she live alone? Had she threatened anyone? Was she in danger? She answered plainly. She didn't over-explain. She didn't justify. When they asked about the locks, she told them the truth. That she'd changed them to establish boundaries. That she was not missing. That she was not unstable. That she had documentation showing sole tenancy. She handed over the paperwork she'd already prepared. Not because she'd anticipated this exact moment, but because she'd learned that preparation was the only language authority consistently respected. The officers reviewed it. One nodded. "Sounds like a family dispute," he said. Not unkindly. "You're within your rights." They left after a few more formalities. No warning, no lecture. Just the quiet closing of a door that confirmed something important. The outside world did not see her as unreasonable. Her phone buzzed almost immediately after. Messages from her mother, her father, an aunt she hadn't spoken to in months. The tone varied, confused, indignant, wounded, but the underlying question was the same. "How dare you make this official?" She didn't respond. That was the hardest part. She realized later, not sending the $1, not changing the locks, not answering the police calmly. The hardest part was allowing silence to stand where she'd always rushed to fill it. In the days that followed, nothing resolved neatly. There was no apology. No sudden self-awareness on anyone's part. The family chat went quiet, then resumed without her. She felt lonely in a way that was new, not sharp, but expansive. Like a room after furniture had been removed. Echoing but clean. On the evening that had been her father's party, she cooked herself dinner. Nothing elaborate. She lit one candle, not to mark the occasion, but because she liked the way the flame made the walls feel closer. She thought about the cost of attendance. What she'd paid for years in patience, in money, in swallowed words. $1 had not been the insult, it had been the conversion. Later. She found the birthday card she'd bought for herself still sitting unopened on the counter. She considered throwing it away, then opened it instead. Inside, it read, "Here's to showing up." She didn't know yet what the long-term shape of her decision would be. Whether distance would harden into permanence or soften into something usable. But she knew this much with an unfamiliar steadiness. For the first time, absence had not been inflicted on her. She had chosen it. And the locks held.